Hey guys, this is Renee. I just wanted to do a quick card share. There's two cards I'm going to show you. They're both Christmas cards. So let me start with this one on the bottom. I had problems with both of these cards actually, so let me just explain to you. This one here, this is the first card I made, and this right here is colored with the alcohol markers I got off eBay. And this time, I remembered that I had bought at my university, they have like a little, in the bookstore, they have an art supply section. And I had bought this paper from, I don't know, the company has bee in its name, like B-E-E, as in a, a bumblebee or a honeybee. Anyway, they have this marker paper. So that's what I used this time to color in the bird, the cardinal, and the leaves, and it worked a lot better than the 110-pound cardstock that I got from Staples. Don't buy that if you're going to color on it. It's really good for stamping and other, like if you want to use it as a card base, because it's really thick. It's nice for that. It's not so nice for coloring. Don't buy it for that. So what I did was I stamped it on the paper and using the Memento ink, and this time the ink did not bleed and the markers did not bleed, and I was very happy. So this is a close to my heart stamp, by the way, and so is this one here. So then when I was done coloring it, I colored the edges using a sponge and the Glacier blue ink from Close to My Heart. It's a dye-based ink, so you can use it to color backgrounds. It doesn't blend as well as Distress inks, but it's not designed to. But I don't have a Distress ink, sorry, in this light-colored blue. And then I just lightly did the edges with Lagoon, also a Close to My Heart ink. This paper here was just in my stash. It's a thin paper, so what I did was I cut the strip of it. Or actually, it was already this width, so I just cut the length down to fit the card. And I just put it on some white paper or some cardstock, white cardstock, and then cut around it so it was thicker, because I was mounting it because of this twine that I put on it. And this twine is just it's actually wool, not wool, but yarn. So I picked that up at the dollar store, and I really like it because it's got this really natural look. Let's see if I can go in. Yeah, so you can see there it has that really nice natural look to it. And what I did was I popped up the strip on the back, and when I was looking, I didn't like the way just the bird looked, with the blue, so I put it on this. It's almost like a candy cane stripe paper, so I just put it on that to give it a bit of interest. And then around the edges of both, I just went over it with the dark chocolate. I think it's a paper tray ink, one of the little mini inks. I just inked the edges of that. Like, you can barely see it because it's only just on the edges. I didn't bring it in. So the problem I had with this card was when I wanted to emboss this sentiment here in white. So I stamped it in Versamark ink. And I don't have the powder tool. So I didn't have that to use. And I've never had a problem before, but I don't know if it was just this cardstock, or maybe I had gotten, maybe I had touched it and my fingers got some oil on the card. But the embossing powder, when I put it on, after I put on the Versamark ink, it went everywhere. It stuck to everything, and it was too much for me to just brush off with a brush. So anyway, I wiped it off, and I was hoping, some people say to try using like used dryer sheets, so I thought I waited long enough, because I waited a couple of hours, so I thought the Versamark ink must be dry, but it and so I went over it with the dryer towel, the used dryer towel, but it still picked up the other ink that had been left. So then I gave up, and I stamped it in a white pigment ink, and it shows up. It's okay. but it doesn't show up quite as nice and bright white as I had wanted it to. And you can kind of see, you can see how it's just a little bit splotchy. And also I didn't stamp it straight, but that's okay. So you can see it's a little bit crooked, but I'm still happy really with the way the card came out. I realize now I really need to buy one of those powder tools. Only I don't think they have the little bags at Michael's, but they're really expensive. Anyway, I'll use a 50% off coupon. So that was one card, and I'm just going to quickly show you the other one. Now, this was not what I intended to make when I made this card. I really like the way it came out, but you can see the border that I have here, which I thought was really interesting after. Well, what happened was I was actually making a background. I was going to do something with like distress ink background and then put some snowy hills and the house dies from Simon Says Stamp. That was my plan. But when I did it, I had added some, because I tried to make like a Northern Lights type of thing with the water. I tried to use distress inks as watercolors, which would have been fine. Except when I added the green for the Northern Lights, it didn't work so well. So it looked kind of crappy. But I turned it over and it had this really interesting border around the edges where the distress ink had seeped under my paper and gone on the edges. And I really liked the way that turned out. So what I did was I took this mulberry wood stamp from Crafter's Companion, and I stamped that down in Stays On ink, and then I just watercolored with my Sakura watercolors. Sakura. Sakura, if you want to call it that. So it was a really simple card because you just color in the stamped image. And then I just stamped this Across the Miles at Christmas, which comes included with the set. Then all I did was, you can see there's a little tiny black edge. I just inked the edges and I stuck it directly to the card, and that's how simple this card was. And I think it looks really nice. The border's interesting. So I guess my point is, just because you think you've got a mistake, don't just automatically throw it away. See what you can do with it first. Anyway, that's all I wanted to show you, and I will catch you guys later. Bye-bye.